Welcome back, YouTube. This will be the last part rather, of my video about the 67 rear frame swap into the 65. Let me roll under and show you what we got going on. So, a couple things. Here's that inner frame rail there. There's a little bit of a gap. And what I've done there, you may can see it straight through. That's a quarter inch piece of bar stock. That's almost the exact width of those frame rails. I'm going to stick it down. I got my green marker in hand. I'll mark it on the top side. And then I will weld my original piece to that. Then I'll tighten this up here. Get that gap good and tight, and then I will weld that bar stock to both pieces all the way down and along the bottom. I already got this outside done. I don't know if you can see it here or not. If I bring the light around, that gap was super nice and tight, so I went ahead and welded it up, ground it down, then I welded it again. You can kind of see my grind. I feel pretty good about that. This side here, I've already done with my bar stock, and I've got it ground down all the way around. That one could use a little bit more grinding, but like I said, on each one of these, I weld it all the way down, grind it, and then re-weld the entire thing. So making two passes, even though this is only probably 16 gauge steel, I'm reinforcing it with the bar stock. So let me hop inside, I'll get that marked, and today will be about welding, so hang out. My inside piece to the bar stock. I'll take my big C-clamp now, compress this down to where it'll be nice and tight right there. piece of bar sticking up. I'll stitch it here, stitch it there, in all corners. You can see there's you might can barely see it, there's a piece of metal that bridges the gap between the two frame rails. See if I can get you underneath. So that piece of metal is there. We stuck that in earlier so that we could line up both frame rails together. So I'll be able to tack that. Tack it here along the bottom. Then if I need to, I'm going to use my bar stock again along the top. I can find my piece. Got one here. It drops down. Very nicely fills that gap. And it'll be super strong. I may need to cut this one off just a hair, but what we're after is rigidity here, and I don't want that sticking up. I'll use my thinner metal to bridge this gap and to do that. But so I'm gonna get both rear frame rails tied in, and then I'll go about sewing in the cosmetic stuff like this. Now for a little bit of payoff action. You can kind of see here I've got that ground about as good as it could get without getting into the structure of it all the way down. And we want to keep that from rusting. We want to keep it from looking as bad also. So I've got a little of my favorite here. This is POR Patch Filler and Seam Sealer. So it's waterproof. You can put it over rust, steel, wood, plastic, concrete. Basically it says, see if I can zoom in on that, must be applied to dry surfaces, wear protective gloves, dries to touch in 4 to 6 hours. It says dries to a rock hard finish. Sanding is very difficult, so we don't recommend use on car exterior parts if a cosmetic finish is desired. So we're going to end up, I'm going to black this out anyway with the rust encapsulator, but this stuff is really, really good. Let me get a little squirted out here and I'll show it to you. So even that bead there will spread, fill in any little imperfections. And it'll keep that weld from rusting forever. And I don't like to say forever or never, but this is the jam right here. Let's start with that and see what happens. Like I said, does not take much at all. Got my spreader out. Hope you can see that. Just kind of want to pull it over the weld. Yeah, see, I probably even used too much here. Let me give that a quick skim, then I'll come back. Pull that forward. I really like this stuff. This is one of the tips for, I've been naming these videos, doing this floor pan swap the easy way. This is part of what makes it easy right here. So my line over here, that seam. Push it, pull it, any way you want it. I'm also going to do this underneath in just a second to the frame rails, help protect that weld before it gets the encapsulator over it. But man, would you just look at it. Yes. That around. One more good time. That'll work. Now, I can weld that. Coat it up. Oh, that's so nice. Makes me want to paint the outside of a car with this.
Mr. B's Mustang extravaganza.